Well, hello there, Denise, Kathy A, Val, Lorna, Jean, Gary, and nice to see everybody on a Friday hot afternoon. And Jennifer, Kathy A, how are you doing?
I'm great, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm hot. That's what I'm doing. I'm hot. So yes.
You have that dry heat. I have that wet heat.
Right. So welcome everybody. So this Friday, we're going to talk about a case, Sophia Lower. And Jennifer, what do we know about this person?
She was a 22-year-old from Utah. I think it was Lower, Utah, and she disappeared in 2022 outside of, I believe it's Randolph, Utah. She had gone there with some friends just to hang out, I suppose. So mom tried to call her, nothing. Mom tried to Facebook, nothing. And finally they reported her missing. And then some kids were on ATVs near Bear Lake and they found a body of a girl. And it took them a couple of weeks to identify through fingerprints that it was this girl. So apparently she had no identification on her. And they have absolutely no idea how she died. The autopsy was inconclusive.
Interesting. That's very rare, ladies and gentlemen, to actually have an inconclusive autopsy. However, certain cities, districts, towns, municipalities have different coroners and different technology and or experience with number of human remains. So I'm not trying to put a cloud of doubt on anybody's judgment on whoever did this, but that can also become some also contributing factors of maybe why some things are not as apparent as others because they do not have a wider base of human remains to go off of. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And they the toxicology didn't bring anything back that could have contributed to her passing at all. And this is actually in an area near where there are many mysterious deaths.
That's weird. You also say it's close to by a famous area that everybody knows of.
Yep. And that, I think I can say the city for sure, because I said the Ballard is the area. So Roosevelt is where she disappeared. Ballard is very near Roosevelt, and Ballard has a reputation in that general area, not necessarily the city itself, of a very famous location with mysterious deaths that a lot of people know about. Which is kind of a reason we took this, because that plus the inconclusive, you wonder.
Right. What about the boyfriend we were talking about? So let's go over some of that stuff.
So when she was 17, she met this man who was, at the time, he would have been, 39 years old, and they started dating. So the mom had been quoted of being very concerned about that. No judgment, but I don't see what a 39-year-old man has to do with the 17-year-old in that regard.
I do, behind bars.
Yeah. So they continued the relationship, and he was 44. Hey, Jane Kirchma. She's my biggest fan. It's my mom. She apparently they had not been seeing each other. That's what the family has been saying. But I mean, if it was a controversial relationship, I mean, what excuse do you go as a girl? Would you use to go see somebody your family doesn't want you to see? It would be, I'm going away with my friends, right? I'm going to go sleep over at my friend's house and things like that. So then this is obviously all speculation. You're just wondering, how this turned out, because if she was out there with friends, this also kind of raises some question. Why did they not say, hey, we can't find her?
Yes, there's a lot of questions regarding her mysteriously death. What kind of news reports did you find?
We do have a couple YouTube reports. We've got a video that we can play that's just when they got the autopsy in. So that's still sorry, my dog's wanting something. Stop, buddy. Here. Audio. Here, share. Okay.
Gotcha.
And on the mysterious death of a Layton woman back in April. Her body, you'll remember, was found in a field near the small town of Randolph, Utah.
Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser spoke to her family, who says they feel like they got some answers, but not enough. She joins us live tonight in studio. Emily.
Brian, Amy, Sophia Lower was last seen in her family's home in Layton in February. They stopped hearing from her in the middle of March and filed a missing persons report. Teenagers riding dirt bikes in Rich County found her body weeks later on April 8th. Over 3 months of waiting for her sister's autopsy report, and finally Veronica Baer calls the results disheartening.
I think that we're doing almost the best we can.
22-year-old Sophia Lower of Layton was missing for weeks until her body was found in a field 5 miles away from the small town of Randolph.
She was not a local. She would have 100% not ended up where she was in the freezing cold by herself.
Baer says Lower's death is labeled undetermined.
But on the autopsy report, it even says it can be changed if people are forthcoming with information.
And she believes the man that Lower traveled to Randolph with has that information. She says the report suggests weather exposure most likely could be the cause.
You know, when the pirates make people walk the deck and they leave them in the middle of the ocean, that's essentially but the snow.
Baer says the Rich County Sheriff's Office has ruled out suicide and the autopsy found no drugs or substances. Right now, it's just an open investigation, but Lower's family believes it has to be foul play.
It gives me full body chills. But yeah.
Baer tells me that Lower struggled with addiction and that lifestyle and trusted the wrong people. That's why they believe she went to Randolph in the first place. I reached out to the Rich County Sheriff's Office for an update in their investigation, but have yet to hear back.
So that actually explains why the photo I have is so different than the ones that they have. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a transformation when somebody is under the influence of controlled substances. You'll see the transformation from a beauty queen down to a person which you just saw on the news. So that explains that question as well. So now we have the coroner saying that if people are forthcoming, that they can change the results or alter that report. That doesn't make sense. So they know something that we don't know, or that they're wanting to. Why would you make that comment to the public?
Yeah, right. And it's also conflicting because the sister was in the video, right? But
Right.
What I read from another ABC news station in Layton, she was quoted as saying that the relationship with that gentleman was over and that she was there with friends. And then that news report was saying that she was with that gentleman.
So now we're getting conflicting information. So if you're with friends and you go missing, who's going to report you're missing? Your friends.
Right.
Who's going to be the ones that on the news saying, well, we last saw her at ABC and this is what we were doing.
Right. And that never happened.
It sounds like that there is some type of illegal activity going on. But if that was the case and there was something that was used as a substance, that would show up in the tox report.
Right. So would any most physical signs of foul play, right?
Right.
So exposure. They said it was cold. I mean, the body was left out, so they said they couldn't find her for 2 weeks. I tell them, what's your experience? How long in cold?
So
Usually that
on the temperature, right? It will preserve and slow down the composition of the human remains. We have body farms across the nation. You can Google it if y'all want to know where it's at. And they purposely get corpse that are donated after people expire to test on elements of nature, weather, insects, scavengers such as coyotes, crows, any type of animal, so they can determine how long a body has been out there between the decomposition and also rigor mortis and also where the blood settles. So you have numerous factors, which it doesn't sound like that they want to tell everything that they know and they're trying to keep something down on the down low. But there's no other thing on this case since it's happened.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. Gene says exposure show up early in autopsy, but it's weird because I think somebody made a comment that it would determine it or something, didn't they?
That what?
Didn't somebody make a comment, the medical exam or somebody, about they couldn't determine that or not?
Yes.
Which I do not believe in. That's false.
Right.
But I'm not an MD or coroner as well, or PhD, but I'm just saying, it's just something's not adding up.
So the week of May 4th, 2022, this ABC was saying that so 2 weeks later, after the body had been found, this week, which is the week of May 4th, 2022, a man who was a friend of Lauer's one-time boyfriend was jailed on burglary charges, but according to the probable cause statement filed by detectives, the man is a possible suspect for a homicide in Rich County, and Rich County is where she was found.
Was she married to this guy?
I mean, they've never released anything saying they were.
But what name did you just read?
I didn't. They didn't. They just said a friend of her one time. Lauer is her. So
right.
A friend of the victim's one-time boyfriend was jailed on charges. So, and they said he was a suspect in a homicide in that same county where Sophia was found.
So interesting. So somebody asked Penny Van, did they turn at the site she was found on, also the kill site? I don't think they're releasing any information. However, the site where she was found is near a Skinwalker Ranch. We'll go ahead and call it Skinwalker Ranch area. But what's interesting, so he allegedly struck previously. So did he come back and do something? I just don't know. Who was she with when she vanished? He's never getting conflicting information.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. We are getting a lot of conflicting info from people. I'm looking up where she was found here. To see, they said near this Bear Lake. So now we're trying to figure out where. I'm like the worst at the stuff here. To see if that's near the same area, but it should be. Let's see, she was found in. Here we go. Roosevelt. Open a maps. Oops, I can't. Let me look that up to see if we can. There we go.
But they also did not indicate any marks,
Nope.
Binding.
Nope.
This is interesting. Was she partial closed when they found her body?
They didn't say that either. They said she had no personal belongings on her. So there was there wasn't even like a purse or anything, which is also a little weird.
Yeah, it is. So it's the Layton City Police Department, Richmond County Sheriff's Office, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. So interesting. So I'd like to know how this is going to work about on the panel with people to see what kind of responses they get. Gene says, well, the no more they are telling are going to try to trip someone up. Well, so what you do in an investigation, you only put out certain related facts known to the case that you found, because you have a lot of people that are not psychologically okay in the head, and they will try to claim that crime. And so when they interview people, you have to be able to give the elements of the crime to law enforcement to validate that you are the actual suspect, that it was involved with whoever. So yeah, so they do admit stuff, Gene, absolutely. They're not going to put everything out there, but it's just the conflicting information is very strange.
Yeah. 100%. So they're saying Bear Lake, which is weird. I'm just trying to figure out this is very odd with like the location. Ballard is right there. So let's go back to the map. 191. That's so weird. So I can kind of share.
And see, I wonder too, is that when they found her body, how far off was it of the main road? Because they said people with ATVs found it, right?
Yeah. So there's a place called Bear Lake, but that's very northwest of Randolph, which is weird.
So yeah, a little twist. Anytime a person goes missing or murdered, they will ping the last known things off people's cell phones to get a coordinates. But the news report and somebody mentioned the police that no personal articles were recovered with her remains.
Right.
So that's what's strange. Did she end up expiring somewhere else? And they just took her out in the middle of nowhere and dumped her? Hey, Rita. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and there is literally nothing else on her. It's like no updates, no, 2 years ago today. I didn't even find I didn't, how they always do those social media accounts.
Right. Anniversaries
or you can like present information and people have discussions. Nothing.
No. Well, this is going to be interesting to see how everybody reacts to this. Because we'll definitely get it submitted after the show. And we'll see also, we can find a little bit more information. That way we can also discuss that after everybody gives their accounts on what they worked on. What do you think, Jennifer?
Yeah, definitely. Was she driving at any point? Was she driving at any point that day or night vehicle found? They don't mention any vehicle.
They just mentioned people on ATVs finding her out in the middle of the field. So,
Yep.
All right, well, we'll see what we can do on it then, and hopefully everybody has a great night. Don't forget, tune in tonight at 9. Christopher's going to talk about Mothman. And if not, we'll catch you tonight and tomorrow. Godspeed, everybody, around from coast to coast, around the world, everybody. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Bye, Jennifer.
to a YouTube channel near you.